Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Aric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
I'm Lexi and I love agriculture.
My name's Carter and I love eating.
My name's Chase and I love lifting weights.
My name's Summer and I love spending my parents' money.
I'm Dane and I love baseball.
Our show is about our blended, blessed, and always a mess life. And our hope is if you find yourself in the same situation we are in, that by sharing our story, all the fun and all the mess, the challenges we are experiencing, it will give you some inspirations, laughs, and community, knowing you are not alone in this mess.
We appreciate you spending time with us. Let's dive in.
Welcome to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess, where we teased that Angie was taking a little trip and it happened this past weekend. So we just want to dive in and talk about what Angie was able to do. Some of you may have seen some of the social media posts that she's made over the last week, but this was one of those things that I think is just I've heard from people in the community that saw it, just how cool they thought it was that you were able to surprise another mama that you've met through grief on such a big day.
Yeah, there's so much power in human connection. And what I think is amazing is that sometimes I think we think human connection means you meet someone in person, but you can establish a connection with another human via text, via social media. And I think also when you lose a child, it makes you see the world completely different. And you instantly know that not much else really matters in the world besides humans that you're connected with. And, it's kind of crazy to think about too, because what prior to child loss, what a win would look like would be like a promotion or, a milestone you completed or a goal that you set for yourself. And it would be like, oh my gosh, that's a win-win. And when you lose a child, that all seems so silly. It seems so irrelevant. And so you begin to search and search and search to find what really matters, something that you can hold on to and create some sort of purpose in your life because you struggle to find it because your life was completely destroyed is what it feels like. And so you want to find that glimmer of joy. And where I end up every time when I'm searching for meaning, it always goes back to people, the people that matter in your life and who you surround yourself with. That same mantra, it matters. And it always starts with God. Like, I feel like that's your roots. But again, the next thing is people. And it's not the things that you have or the job that you have, the car you drive, and all those things are great. They're nice, but that doesn't give you a sense of belonging or connection or breath.
And so what I've really noticed is over the last couple of years is that the times that you do seem like you're kind of filled up a little bit with your cup, it's when you're reaching out and you're helping other mamas that are on this difficult journey. You're connecting with the other people like you're talking about. It's those human connections, but especially with the moms that are hurting. It does seem to give a glimmer of hope into this difficult Genesis 3 world.
Yeah. I mean, connection looks so different for me. Who I truly feel connected with are people that have experienced the same tragic loss. And again, you still have your normal circle, but there's like this deep rooted connection with people, and how you connect, why you connect, all those things just changes. And that's why it is such an unraveling and a rebuilding, because nothing in your world looks the same anymore, and it will forever be changed. And so on this podcast, I've talked about people that I have connected with, and I feel like I also have this ability to really see people and see how they're feeling or feel how they're feeling, very empathetic. And, Angie is one of them. I've talked about this mom for a while, her losing her daughter, Sydney. It was around the same time I lost Hallie, but a year before. There were so many similarities. And she was the first mom that I connected with after I lost Hallie. And so it's almost like this trauma bond of someone that was ahead of you that could help walk you through exactly what you're feeling and validating it. So you feel crazy. There's so many aspects when you are in deep grief, you feel crazy, like you're never going to get through this. It's hard to breathe, all those things. And we talk often for the past 2.5 years, but we have never met in person. We've talked about it, but just never met in person.
Yeah, because you guys live 11 and a half hours away. It's not like it's a close couple-hour drive. It's a bit of a jaunt to be able to connect. And I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah, so the middle of April, Aric and I were getting ready to head to dinner. Actually, we were parking. I'll never forget it. We were parking and getting ready to get out of the car. And I get a Facebook message from Carly, which is Angie's other daughter. And it said, I know this is a long shot, but would you be willing to come to my wedding in June and surprise my mom? She admires you so heavily, and I know we didn't get to see you in Florida, so I thought I would ask. They had stayed at Hallie's house, I think last year, and I just got instant chills. Instant chills. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just felt it would be such a powerful thing to do, and that she would even think of me. Like I completely honored that she would even think, and that my presence, would be valued. So I had instant chills because I know that every day is hard, even in the little moments. So a big moment like a wedding carries just a completely different weight. You're so conflicted. You're happy for your daughter getting married, but you're broken because your other child is not there. You're just forever conflicted. So I responded with, when is it? Because, everybody that listens to our podcast knows that our lives are completely slammed 24/7. I mean, I just
a lot going on.
There's no other way to explain it. And I also feel like no matter what, if I have something going on, there is a confliction with that. There's a pull in another direction. So I knew whatever date she would share, I had something going on. So
you're right.
I know. She responded with, it's June 14th. So I'm like, oh man. That same day, Meredith, Hallie's bestie, was having a barrel race in Hallie's honor in Kentucky. So we were also invited to that. Also, Father's Day weekend. So the whole thing was conflicted, wanting to spend time with my dad, wanting to make sure that Aric's Father's Day was special. And so it was another scenario where I'm like, okay, God, need you here today too. Like I need some guidance. I'm so conflicted. I'm torn. It's not going to be easy to get to this wedding. And I'm also should be in Kentucky and it's Father's Day weekend. And so I contemplated this for like a month, trying to kind of let God send me signs so that I would make the right choice. And it turns out that his sign that he sent me was through Summer. So Summer and I were driving in the car one day and I'm like, Summer, I'm just going to give you this scenario. Like I'm kind of in a confliction and I really don't know what to do. So I explained the whole scenario to her and explained the conflict that I had. And she just so plainly responded without even like spending a ton of time processing it. She said, Mom, I know that that's a really hard choice, but if you went to Carly's wedding, you would really be helping someone. You would help another mom that feels the same way that you do. And then that's all I needed from God and from Summer was like, no, go help someone. So a month had passed. So it was like May 20th. And I messaged Carly on Facebook and I said, send me the details of your wedding. I will be there. And she responded with, this just made my entire life. I don't think you know how much this means to me.
Which I think is awesome. Because it was a lot into that. And there were signs. First, I was like, we'll just go to the barrel race and I'll go with you. And then I realized I had already committed to an event in Columbia that weekend that I had forgotten about. So I was like, okay, I'm out. You go wherever you need to go. And so for Summer to come in with great advice, it made it, I think, easier for you to not have to pick between the barrel race and the wedding. And
I didn't want to take Father's Day away from you with your kids. I knew you would, before you realized you had that commitment, I knew you would go with me. But it's not fair to your kiddos to have you be gone when it's Father's Day weekend. So I started the search for flights. Not a good way to get there. And so I'm like, screw it. I can just drive. I can drive 11 hours. Like, that's totally fine.
Bit of a jaunt.
Well, I come from a family of truck drivers. So I just think somehow that gets in your DNA where you don't mind driving. You don't mind a quiet car. But, here this past weekend, it's Friday. It's time to leave. But we had a little bit of challenges just getting out the door. I wanted to leave at a decent time to where it wouldn't be late when I got to the hotel. Because here's what I decided to do. I decided I'm going to drive halfway there. So I'm going to drive to Lincoln, Nebraska, stay, then get up Saturday morning and drive the rest of the way, go to the wedding, stay for a little while, come back, stay at Lincoln, and then get up Sunday morning and drive the rest of the 5 hours on the way home. Well, my dad has had his back has been messed up for a while. And so they were trying for the last couple of days to get an MRI done. And anyway, they ended up in Columbia on Friday. So I wanted to make sure that they were in a good spot, met them at their appointment, did the MRI, made sure that everything was good there before they headed home. So I would just say some prayers for my dad that, his back gets better, because we do have a big family trip coming up in August with our entire family. It's my mom's wish for their anniversary that we will all go on vacation together, which we haven't done in a bazillion years. So, could be good, could be bad. Don't know.
If you're new to the podcast, she's not talking about our crew.
No.
She's talking about her siblings, their families, our families, like a lot of people, a lot of people. So,
and
that's
we're
what
all
Angie's talking
going.
about.
We're all going because it's for my parents. And if my dad can't travel, we're all going to be there like, wow, this is great. Like, mom and dad aren't even here. So say some prayers for him that the next 6 weeks he gets in a better spot where he can travel. Anyway, we got through that. Then I'm like, grab my Alani energy drink and get on the road for my first 5-hour trek.
Which went by pretty quickly, it seemed like. We chatted a little bit on your drive to Lincoln. Seemed like It did end up going fairly smoothly. Knock on wood, it did.
It did. It went well. I stayed in this cute little area, which I didn't even realize. I just booked a hotel right off of I-80 in Lincoln, and it's called
Haymarket.
Yeah, it's called Haymarket. And I love like trolling around in cute neighborhoods and like downtowns that are revitalized. But I didn't have time. I was just like impressed with the little area that I stayed in. But here's what I would say that I have learned about me throughout this entire process is that when I have a mission and purpose, like I'm like a machine. I'm very fueled and driven. And it's like, this is what I have to do. And this is what I'm going to do to get it done. And I don't really let the emotions flood in. Like I somehow block them out. And then I'm just like laser focused on this is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Can you relate to that?
I've seen you, and then I see that when you're done with it, then the emotions come in afterwards. That's how this goes.
Release.
You're like locked down, and then I'm like, "Oh, this is great," and then I'm like, "Okay, here comes the next part."
Yeah.
Any guesses as to who gets to partake in the next part? The guy over here. I'm here for it, honey. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love, love, love.
Yes. Poor guy. I also, on my drive, I do a lot of talking to Hallie. Obviously, we've talked about that. I let my mind settle, and then comes the conversation. And so on my drive, after I could like settle into processing everything, and there's been a lot on my mind. And at some point, I'll share kind of something my sister and I are talking about doing, and you guys can all weigh in, let us know what you think, but not ready to share that yet. But there's a lot of just things going on in my mind, contemplating different options for me. And at this particular point in the drive, I'm just like, okay, Hallie, lead me. Like, let me know what path I should take in my life. And literally, I look up and there's the back of this tractor trailer in front of me, loaded with sevens. Like the license plate has 3 sevens on it. There's a text option to text the company on the back that, again, 3 sevens. And then in big letters on the back, it says venture. And it's like, okay, got it. Hi, Hal. Got it loud and clear. So more to come on that.
She wants you to follow in your dad's footsteps and be a truck driver like your brother.
That's it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Packed my heated blanket. Got to have that. So got to the hotel, got checked in, set my alarm for 7 a.m. to get up because it was a 6-hour drive. But Hallie thought I should get up earlier. So the alarm in the hotel room went off at 6 a.m., which I don't know about you guys. I travel a lot. Rarely is there an actual clock in the room anymore. But yeah. It's like, fine, okay, I'll get up. So got up, got ready, found this cute coffee shop around the corner to get my half caffeinated latte and some egg bites, and started to walk out the door when I noticed there was some cards that you could buy, just a little display. And they caught my eye because Sid, who is Angie's daughter that passed away, loved those red and white mushrooms. And there was a card just right there with these bright red mushrooms on it. And so I'm like, okay, hi, Sid. I see you. I'll buy this card. So bought the card and then got on the road for my 6-hour drive on Saturday. But what I do love about the drives, I don't know if you guys are like this too. I tend to catch up with people that I haven't talked to in a while. My brother Luke ended up calling me. I talked to him for an hour. I hadn't talked to him in a long time. Talked to my parents, talked to Aric. Like, I think about people that I should check in on. And when people pop up in my mind, I just immediately reach out to them because they're on your heart and your mind for a reason. And it's just such a reflection time. Time in a car is like you're locked in there, just like you like to be trapped with your kids, but you're trapped with yourself. And it's your time to process and reflect. And I always shed tears. I always instantly cry when I'm talking to God and Hallie, because life without your person, without your child, is probably it has to be the most grueling thing I think I've ever experienced. And it always just feels kind of like a cruel joke, like you're supposed to suffer, but also smile. You're suffer and show up, suffer and stay focused, suffer and, sacrifice for others. And it's a confliction. I also feel conflicted when I'm traveling. Like, I don't know when to stop at a gas station and go to the bathroom. Aric and I are different in this.
I'll stop. I love gas stations and I have a small bladder. And so you road trip with me. We're going to stop at a nice gas station from time to time and go to the bathroom, see what they have there. And Angie's just like a truck driver with me. She just goes. She is constantly going. Yeah, I get it.
I on that 6-hour drive stopped one time. I don't like to stop. Like, I'm on a mission. I'm focused. I want to get there. And so around 1 o'clock, I left around 7. Around 1 o'clock, I arrived in Gering, Nebraska, which is the location of the wedding.
Not too far from Wyoming at this point. You're on the phone and you're like, I am close to Wyoming. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm hungry at this point. So I look on Yelp, a couple places popped up to eat. I picked the first healthy one and it was open. But then when I get there, get out of the car, got my backpack with my computer and go to the door and it's closed for whatever reason. So then I ended up finding another place that seemed a little bit further away, but I liked the name. It was called Flyover. It was kind of like a brewery. But one of my favorite places to eat here in Columbia is it's a tapas place, but it's called Flyover. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go there. So I walk in, hurry to the bathroom because I have to go to the bathroom. So I had to walk all the way through the restaurant, use the restroom, come back. It's kind of open seating. So I found my spot, pulled out my laptop, started working on the podcast. And then I look up because a lady's walking up to me and she just kind of has this look on her face. And she's like, "Are you Angie?" "Yeah, yep, I'm Angie." She's like, "Well, I'm Angie's aunt." And I said, "Then, okay, you know why I'm here." And she teared up and she's like, "Does Angie know you're coming?" I said, "Nope." And she's like, "Oh my God, can I give you a hug?" And she's full on tears. And I just stood up. We hugged each other. I mean, I don't even know this lady. And here I'm in this restaurant, my second choice of the place to go eat, and cross paths with her. It just hits different now when you hug people. I shared this with someone this week. I'm like, hugs just hit different after you lose a child. They're more meaningful. They're more intentional. They're longer. You're more present. They're more purposeful because you know tomorrow is promised to no one. And I personally feel hugs more. I pay attention to what the hug feels like. And I think because I literally would give anything to hug Hallie again, anything. So it almost feels like I'm trying to pass that love that I have to give to other people through the hug. She did say, normally I don't go up to strangers, but like, I just had to come up to you and say hi. She's like, "I follow you on social media." I knew it had to be you, but I think she was also still shocked that I was in their town. So we chatted for a while and she thanked me for just even the friendship with Angie, because she's like, we've lost her mom. So Angie's mom passed away. And so this would have been this lady's sister, but she's like, it's not the same as a child. And she's like, we just don't know how to support her because we haven't experienced it ourselves, which is so true. So many people say that, but it's just another example of crossing paths with someone that was orchestrated from above.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. When you told me that, I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, when you believe in God, it's really not that crazy.
Mm-mm.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I wrapped up the podcast and lunch, and then next it was just go to the location and wait for Carly to text that she was ready. And so around 3, she texted and said, "My bridesmaids will come get you." And so I got out and walked over to the front of the house in the yard, and here Angie came around the corner. First time seeing each other in 2.5 years. And I will say she had no idea. So shocked. And it was just this immediate embrace and probably the longest, most heartfelt hug we both have been waiting for so long. And it's crazy because you can be trauma bonded with someone that you have never even met. And there is just this unspoken connection of knowing the deep pain. And there's so much beauty in being able to bring a glimmer of joy, a spark that maybe lightened the load that day. It was so worth the drive, worth the drive. And I was able to meet her husband for the first time and her other 3 kiddos, and just to be able to be in the house that Sid lived in and I'm sure was present in on that day. I mean, it was just a credible honor. And what a great family that is also fighting through extreme loss and trying to live their life in spite of the tragedy, but also keeping Sid's memory alive. They're doing it. Even though a lot of times I know it doesn't feel like it, but a stranger coming into that home and experiencing that, you could just tell like they were honoring Sid, they were living for her. And that was such a beautiful thing to see. It was funny because her son did a toast with the wedding party with a shot that apparently Sid had made up. And they were one night playing cards, games around the table, and she couldn't drink. And so she made up that she was like their bartender, made up this shot. And so now they like make this shot in honor of her. And it was so funny because they don't know me. And her brother said, "Hey, Angie, are you okay with cuss words?" And I cracked up. I'm like, oh my God, if he only knew me. So I politely responded.
If you only knew Hallie.
Right. No. I politely responded with like, F yes. So it was funny. But here's what I would also say is that I think everyone thinks their family is messy and doesn't have it together. And the little secret is that no family has it together. Like no family doesn't have mess or disagreements or hard fought battles, and no family is perfect, but yet we think other people's families are. But that's what actually makes a family, is the bonds through the battles and choosing to stick together anyway. Like that's family.
Yeah, if we invited you into the home here for Blended Blessed, Always a Mess on a Sunday night family dinner, you'd be like, oh God, they are a mess. Wowza.
That's why they added mess to their podcast.
That's what's going on. So yeah, I think it's always great to get to see other families and know that we're all just doing our best.
Yes. Yeah. The wedding was beautiful. Obviously, I mean, it's just a tearjerker. It's just beautiful and painful. I was also able to meet another mom that lost her daughter, Alexis, 12 years ago due to a drunk driver. And just being able to sit in the stories with other people and listen to her and hear her fight for justice. And then I saw, the aunt that was at the restaurant. I was able to catch up with her. The bummer of it all is I couldn't stay very long. So the wedding was at 5 and my goal was to leave by 7:30. So I could get back to the hotel by 1 a.m., not be like completely wiped. Although you guys know my bedtime's 9:30.
Right.
Not be completely wiped. And so anyway, I could have talked for hours. I could have stayed there the whole rest of the night. I'm like, okay, I got to prioritize Father's Day and get back home at a decent time. So Eric's texting me and it's like, hey, I thought you were going to leave at 7:30. And I'm like, what? I mean, I am. It's 7:20. Like I got time. I'm getting ready to, leave. So then when I do leave at 7:30, I get in my car, and before I turn my car on, it says the time is 8:30. And I'm like, well, that's weird. But then I look at my phone and it's like, oh no, my phone says it's 7:30. I'm fine. I don't know what that was, and turn it on. My car said it was 7:30.
Meanwhile, I'm over here going in Colombia like she's in a time change and has no idea she's in a time change. Oh boy.
Somehow on my drive there, completely missed that the time changed. And I know later I was reflecting on it. I'm like, how did that happen? But the whole time, like I map it, it tells me what time I'm going to get there. And I'm always just looking like, okay, 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, 3. I mean, when you drive that long, you get a little bit delirious on the time. You just know your arrival time and you just keep counting down. Somehow I missed it. So then I'm like, okay, this is weird. I get on the road and he's telling me it's 8:30. At what point in my journey did this time change?
Right.
So it was probably 2 hours after I left, I think, where I'm like, oh, there it changed. Oh, shit. It's now 2 a.m. when I'm going to get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
But I made it. Thank you to God and Hallie, because twice on that drive, because there's not a lot on that entire drive. And so I made sure my car was full of gas because there was not a lot of places to stop for several hours. And twice I could have royally smacked a deer. At one point on the interstate going 85, there was a deer literally just standing there on the road. Thank God it never moved. You know how you're just driving, you're like you can't even like breathe or move. And you just think, I hope that thing doesn't move. And it never moved. And then one other time.
With you at that time, and I was like, oh God, like I was freaked out from Missouri.
And then like one other time, one ran out in front of me and it just barely missed the corner of my car. So definitely felt like I was being protected. Lots of conversations and phone calls throughout that night just to make sure that I don't think my parents slept.
They kept calling you. I slept for a little while, kept calling. I mean, it was just, you worry about you. We worry about you.
I know. I know. I also had the craziest sunset when I left, which was also really weird. I have never had this happen before, but there were storms in front of me. So it was dark in front of me and a sunset behind me that was super bright. But because of that, the shadow of my car was in front of me. It was very weird, very weird. But it was a beautiful sunset, which I just feel like it was like, okay, thanks, girls. Thank you for sharing that beauty and connecting the two Angies together and allowing this trip to even be possible and be able to surprise someone like that was definitely a beautiful experience.
They probably took turns. Hallie took one deer and Sydney took the other one.
Yeah, they probably took one. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally. But I do want to thank you. I totally appreciate the support that you gave me of just going on this trip and all the encouragement. And yeah, it meant a lot. Knowing I was going to miss out on part of your Father's Day.
I wanted to go with you and couldn't, but I know how much it fills your cup. And I think that's really it. Like when I see opportunities to fill your cup now, I want to make sure that you take them because I live with you in all the pain and the sorrow and the heartbreak that you have. And one of the things that was very rewarding to me was when you sent a photo of yourself and Angie back. And I said, you look happy in this photo. And we talk all the time. When Angie takes photos now, there's the photos from before we lost Hallie, and there's the photos after we lost Hallie. And 99% of the photos after we lost Hallie, there's sadness in Angie's face and her eyes. And on a rare occasion, probably in the last 12 months now, and on a rare occasion, you'll catch a photo where you see her look to be more happy. And Saturday night, she took a photo with Angie, Nebraska Angie, and sent it back, and I could see happiness. And that was very fulfilling for my heart, made me feel glad that you were there to be able to be Christ-like is what you were being. You were taking Christ's light and love into the darkness, and that's become your painful, beautiful mission and journey. And yeah, so I'm glad that you went and got to do that.
One other thing I do want to share, which people might think, well, why would you do that? But on my drive back, on the whole, just processing all of it, I listened to our first couple podcasts that we released after we lost Hallie and talking through letting her go and just that whole experience of getting the first call. And I don't know necessarily why I was drawn to that, but I think part of it is a reminder to know that 2.5 years later, I'm still living and breathing and fighting forward, and a reminder of that deep, deep pain, that the day that changed our lives forever, and that you can still exist in that pain. I think sometimes it is a good reminder to reflect and look at pictures and remember even the hard stuff, not just the beautiful stuff. Like I love looking at her beautiful pictures too, but I hadn't done that in a long time. I've listened to those podcasts. But yeah, there was lots of tears in the last 2 hours of my drive back on Sunday, where it was like this flood of emotion of like, I did that, and we are connected through the most excruciating pain, but yet there's power in human connection.
Yeah. And you didn't sleep much that Friday night or Saturday night, obviously.
No.
And you got home, you're like, I need a little cat nap. And you slept for a few hours, and the kid's like, should we check on her? I was like, no, she needs all of this nap. Let her sleep for a while. And so you did get that in, and we had a nice family dinner for Father's Day, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and you had a great Father's Day weekend. So that was also
got to spend time with Lexi, Carter, and Dane, and glad we did that podcast last weekend. And kids are growing up, proud of all three of them, and so yeah, we had a nice time and wrapped it up Sunday evening. With you being here was great. So Summer made it back Sunday night as well. That was awesome. All right. Well, do you want to say anything else, or want to get into what we're grateful for today?
Oh, we can jump into what we're grateful for.
All right. What you got for me?
Well, I already kind of shared it, so I'm an overachiever.
It's all right.
I mean, I'm just grateful.
Right message. I was saying advertising, right message, right number of times gets results.
Yeah.
So
I'm literally just grateful for the power of human connection. I keep saying that, like, people are what gets me through each day. It's that connection. And I do believe it's why we're all here. Nothing else matters other than human connection, and just grateful for the safe trip, the safe travels. I mean, that was a lot of miles, a lot of windshield time, a lot of things that could have gone wrong. And so I'm just grateful for the army of people that look out for me here, physically here, and also above.
I'm glad that you got there and had a great experience and made it home safely. So I am grateful for that. I would also just say I'm grateful for the last 10 plus months of our life and a lot of reflection. I give a lot of credit to our counselor and just a lot of hard work, even on my own end, in that for the first time in my life, even though I don't really 100% know how to explain it, but I have a bit of a confidence about myself that's a real confidence. My whole life, being a public personality, most of it, people are like, oh, he's so confident. That's a fake confidence. For a lot of years, I've been a fakely confident person. Fake it till I make it. Because if you do that long enough, you can cover up all the areas of your life that you're not so good at. And I just feel more confident in the way that I'm able to stand up for myself, but also that I'm able to stand up for my friends, the way that I'm able to show up for my friends that are in need when they're going through difficult times. I have a quiet confidence because it feels grounded in God that I can say things to them that are maybe helpful, where before I would have given a platitude. And so I'm just grateful for work that God has been doing in my heart, in my mind over the last year. And so
and you hit 300 days.
I'm over 10 months sober.
Yeah.
Over 3. I'm almost,
Awesome.
I think tomorrow. Well, by the time this airs, it'll be like 3:12, 13, 4. I don't know, something like that. We've strictly got a year in sight, less than 2 months ago to hit a year. And more guys are reaching out to me about how is it doing it, or if they're having a hard day. And so, yeah, if you are listening and you've thought about not drinking, or you have a significant other that you would love, that's a hard thing because they got to choose that, but that they'd love to maybe talk to somebody, they can reach out to me. They go to milesforhim.com, which is a website we set up, and reach out to me and see if there's some time we can walk and chat. But yeah, that's what I would say I'm grateful for. And so that is it. That is all we had this week. And that is Angie's trip. And again, if you missed any of her TikToks or reels or anything like that on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, go check them out. Super cool to see the surprise. It's part of the hug. And just all of us, your family, your parents, our crew, myself, we are proud of you. And what you did was God's work. So love you, proud of you.
Thank you.
Everybody that's listening this week, we hope you have a wonderful week. We thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you for listening to Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at blendedblessedalwaysamess.com.
Reach out to us on any of our social channels. We would love to hear from you. Have a great week.